Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we're going to be ranking every NFL starting quarterback from 32 to 1. So, coming in at number 32, we have either Drew Lock or Geno Smith, whoever ends up being the starter for the Seahawks. And it really doesn't matter who, they're definitely going to be the worst starter in the league, as Geno Smith and Drew Lock have both been terrible in the NFL. Geno Smith has established himself as a definite backup, and Drew Lock, we've seen he's probably going to be a backup as well. Or at least that's best for him because he's not a starting quarterback because he's terrible. Coming in at number 1, we have Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. So this is the year for Daniel Jones to either prove he was a good pick at number 6 overall and he's going to be a good quarterback and the Giants will keep him, or he's going to prove he's not any good like we think he already is not any good, and then the Giants are going to move on from him this offseason. At number 30, we have Marcus Mariota. So I think you could definitely take Daniel Jones over Marcus Mariota, but I have Mariota a bit higher, but really they're interchangeable. Mariota hasn't been a starter in a few years, and he's not in a very good situation with in Atlanta with only Drake London and Kyle Pitts to throw the ball to, but he does have a lot of rushing upside, so that's a good thing for Mariota. Coming in at number 29 is second-year quarterback Justin Fields. So he has the potential to be a lot higher. He was not good as a rookie. He was in a terrible situation with Matt Nagy as his head coach. And this year, he's also not in a good situation. He's got a defensive coordinator as his head coach, one of the worst offensive lines in football, and one of the worst receiving corps in the NFL. Coming in at number 28, we have the combo of Kenny Pickett / Mitch Trubisky. So like Marcus Mariota, Trubisky hasn't been a starter in a couple seasons. Maybe sitting behind Josh Allen in the Brian Daboll offense over in Buffalo helped him. But, and for Kenny Pickett, he's a rookie. He's unproven. No one really knows how he's going to be in the NFL. So, whoever the Steelers starter is comes in at number 28. Number 27, we have Carson Wentz. So, he needs to reprove himself because he was a good quarterback before his knee injury where he had an MVP caliber campaign. But he hasn't been the same player since. He was in a good situation last year, reuniting with head coach Frank Reich in Indianapolis. But he wasn't even able to lead a good Colts team to the playoffs. Now he comes over to Washington, but he has to reprove himself. Not the greatest quarterback, but he comes in at number 27. 26, we have Lions quarterback Jared Goff. So Goff is low for being a former number 1 overall pick, and he really hasn't lived up to the number 1 overall pick hype. But he's shown flashes of what he can do in the NFL. Remember, he led the Rams to a Super Bowl appearance a few years ago. But the Lions may look to move on within the next few years. So Jared Goff comes in at number 26. 25, we have Jameis Winston. So Jameis Winston is like the definition of your bridge starter. And I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. And he's what you want when you're like going from one quarterback to another. Like perfect example with the Saints, going from Drew Brees to someone else. I don't think Jameis Winston's that franchise guy they're looking for. Also, with Jameis Winston, you're getting a very aggressive passer. He's going to throw you 5,000 yards, but also 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Number 24, we have Ryan Tannehill. So he's coming off a pretty bad season. I really don't think he's ever going to return to being that borderline top 10 quarterback. But he is going to be decent, and he comes in at number 24. Number 23, we have Davis Mills. So he was actually pretty good as a rookie, even though he was in a terrible situation with the Texans and had essentially only Brandon Cooks to throw the ball to. But I don't know if he'll ever be a top 10 quarterback, but he had a good season last year, and if he can follow it up with another good season, we may be talking him inside the top 20 next year. Coming in at number 22, we have Zach Wilson. So he was not terrible last year as a rookie. I expect him to take a step up this year as the Jets improve their offensive line. They drafted Garrett Wilson, number 10 overall. And they're definitely making the right moves to help Zach Wilson. And I think he's also going to take a step up. He's another guy similar to Davis Mills, who I think could definitely end up in the top 20 after this season. Coming in at number 21, we have Trey Lance. So he's a tough one. He's very unproven in the NFL. He's only attempted 71 passes. He's in the perfect situation to succeed right away. Because he has a really good team, a team that just went to the NFC Championship game. And for those of you that don't know, I actually don't know if I've ever talked about this in a video, but I think Trey Lance has the potential to be a superstar quarterback in the NFL, like borderline top 5 potential. I think Trey Lance could be like a true superstar. Number 20, we have Tua. So it's a big year for him as the Dolphins improved the offensive line over the offseason. Also brought in Tyreek Hill to pair with Jalen Waddle. So he's got the weapons around him. Also top 10 tight end Mike Gesicki. But he's got the weapons around him. He's going to have a good offensive line. And now he just needs to prove he's going to be good in a very similar situation to Daniel Jones, although I think he's better than Daniel Jones. Coming in at number 19, we have Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence, similar to Trey Lance, is ranked this high based off potential because he's been one of the most highly anticipated prospects in the last few decades. He did not have a good rookie season. He was in a bad situation in Jacksonville with Urban Meyer as his head coach. The Jaguars have done a lot to improve that. They've brought in some weapons like Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, but none of them are really like high-end pass catchers. Also getting rid of Urban Meyer was big, but Trevor Lawrence comes in at number 19. Coming in at number 18, we have Mac Jones. So he had a good rookie season last year, leading the Patriots to the playoffs. And although he doesn't have a ton of weapons around him, like Devontae Parker might be his number one target, but he does have one of the best head coaches ever in Bill Belichick. So Mac Jones at 19. 18. Number 17 is Baker Mayfield, now the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. He should be in line for a bounce-back season after having a down year last year. He was also very banged up last year. He has two good receivers to throw the ball to, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. So Baker comes in at number 17. Coming in at number 16, we have Kirk Cousins. So he's a good quarterback, precise, accurate passer. He's also a really, really good game manager. And it's good for Cousins when he's consistently able to get the ball to a top 5 wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. At number 15, we have Jalen Hurts. So he really hasn't proven himself as a passer yet, but he's in a great position to do so. With two great wide receivers, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Also a great tight end in Dallas Goedert, and we already know what he can do with his legs, as he's a top 5 rushing quarterback. Number 14 is Matt Ryan. So he's slowed down a little bit as he's gotten older. He still has the right pieces with the Colts this season to potentially lead them to the playoffs. He can't do it alone. He's going to need help. But Matt Ryan is still a good quarterback. At number 13, we have Deshaun Watson. So this is a really tough one, as he hasn't played in a while because he sat out last year. Now he's going to get suspended at least the first 6 games. But when he's on the field, he's a really good quarterback. And he's a quarterback that makes the Browns team good enough to be a true contender in the AFC. At number 12, we have Derek Carr. So he's a lot like Kirk Cousins, a very accurate, precise passer. And he could take the next step this year. He's now reuniting with former college teammate Devontae Adams, who I also think is the best receiver in football. Plus, he's got a top 5 tight end in Darren Waller. Coming in at number 11, we have Kyler Murray. So he had a breakout season last year, establishing himself as a good quarterback. Definitely slowed down in the second half of the season. But to enter the top 10, I think he needs to be more consistent throughout the entire season and not slow down significantly in the second half. At number 10, we have Lamar Jackson. So he's a very dynamic quarterback. The best runner at the quarterback position. Not the best passer. Another thing with Lamar Jackson is he's a winner. People say he's a running back playing quarterback, but really that's not the case because when you look at his MVP season in 2019, he threw 36 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. And in the 2020 season, he threw 26 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions. At number 9, we have Dak Prescott. He's established himself as a good quarterback. He's borderline top 10, and he fits in just inside my top 10 at number 9. But really what he needs to do is show he can win playoff games. Number 8 is Russell Wilson. So he had a down season for his standards last year, but he still had a pretty good season considering he missed a few games, throwing for 3,100 yards and 25 touchdowns. I also think he's going to perform better this year, getting a much-needed change of scenery in Denver. Number 7, we have Matthew Stafford. He showed last season he's a top 10 quarterback, and he's a quarterback good enough to win you a Super Bowl. We saw that with the Rams. And he comes in at number 7. Number 6 is Joe Burrow. So he led the Bengals to the Super Bowl in his second season in the NFL, and he's shown he's a franchise quarterback And now he's only going to improve this season as he's going to play behind a much better offensive line. Number 5 is Justin Herbert. So I'm putting Justin Herbert over Joe Burrow, but it's really just personal preference. But I think Herbert has shown more in the NFL so far, as well as I think he's got a little bit more potential. But he's now in a position to lead the Chargers on a potential Super Bowl run, as they have one of the most loaded rosters in the NFL. Coming in at number 4 is Tom Brady. Just because he's the greatest quarterback of all time doesn't mean he's currently the best, though. At age 45, he still continues to play at an insanely high level, and he makes the Buccaneers a Super Bowl contender. And I mean, he would make any team a Super Bowl contender, because he would have so many people want to come play with him for a chance to win a Super Bowl. Number 3 is Josh Allen. So similar to Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes is simply personal preference. Both are elite quarterbacks. I have Josh Allen coming in at number 3. He has a cannon for an arm, also a very physical runner, and won't shy away from contact. He's a yearly MVP candidate, and it's only a matter of time before he wins MVP. He's also a huge reason the Bills are always Super Bowl contenders. At number 2, we have Patrick Mahomes. So he lost his number 1 wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, in the offseason, but he still has Travis Kelce, who's his best pass catcher. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill isn't good, I'm just saying Travis Kelce's more valuable to that offense. He can make just about any throw, and he's the second best quarterback in the NFL. At number 1, we have Aaron Rodgers. So he's one of the most talented quarterbacks ever, the back-to-back MVP. Comes in at number 1. He did lose his top wide receiver in Davante Adams, but Rodgers is so good, he has the ability to make anyone into a true superstar wide receiver. So those are my NFL quarterback rankings. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with my rankings. And for those of you wondering about Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not on this list because he won't be starting for the 49ers. I think he will end up finding a starting job somewhere else, but he would come in the 15 to 18 range. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I will be doing more rankings before the NFL season starts. Running backs, receivers, tight ends, maybe more. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss when those videos come out. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.